The length of a rectangle is 8 inches shorter than 3 times its width. If the area of the rectangle is 35 square inches, what is the length of the rectangle? For this particular problem, we know the length is 8 inches shorter than 3 times the width. We'll let W be the width, so the length is 3W minus 8. Area is length times width, and it's going to equal 35. So if we let the 3W minus 8 be the length here, we'll have 3W minus 8 times W, which is our width, that's length times width, equaling the area of 35. If we solve this, we'll know what the width is, which will allow us to find the length. Let's first distribute our W. W times 3W is 3W squared. And W times negative 8 is negative 8W. That equals 35. Now, in order to solve that equation, we need to get 0 on one side. So how about if we subtract 35 from both sides? So 3W squared minus 8W minus 35 equals 35 minus 35. Or 3W squared minus 8W minus 35 equals 0. Now we can factor this particular trinomial. We'll do that by factoring by grouping. 3 times negative 35 ends up giving us negative 105. We need factors of negative 105 that will add up to a negative 8. Those factors are negative 15 times 7. If we add those together, you get a negative 8. And if you multiply them together, you get negative 105. So we'll separate our negative 8W into negative 15W plus 7W. Be sure to carry down the negative 35 and the 3W squared, and that is all equal to 0. Now let's factor by grouping. We will group the first two terms and the last two terms. The first two terms have a 3W in common, so we'll factor out a 3W. 3W divides into 3W squared, leaving a W. 3W divides into a negative 15W and leaves us with a negative 5. Over in our second parentheses, notice they both are divisible by 7, so let's factor out a 7. 7 into 7W is W, and 7 into negative 35 is negative 5, which equals 0. Notice both this big term here and that big term there have a W minus 5. Let's factor W minus 5 out. When we do that, it's removed from here, leaving the 3W, and removed from there, leaving the 7. And all of that equals 0. Now, we can find our possible values for W by setting each of these factors equal to 0. So W minus 5 would equal 0, or 3W plus 7 would equal 0. I notice that on this second one here, if I subtract 7 from both sides, I'm going to end up with the W equaling a negative value. Subtracting 7 from both sides gives you 3W equals negative 7. And then when you divide by 3, I get W equaling negative 7/3. Well, W is a length. We can't have a negative length, so this answer is not okay. However, over here, if I solve this and add 5 to both sides, I get W equaling 5. In fact, 5 inches, since those are our units. It's okay for W to be 5 inches. So we know our width up here. We need to find our length. We know the length is 3 times the width minus 8. So the length is 3 times 5 minus 8, which is 15 minus 8, which is 7. And our units are inches, so we would say that the length of the rectangle is 7 inches.